Hello and welcome to at Sentinel Food Court Racer on the YouTube verse with none other than myself, Daniel Wolfson. Today I will talk about what it's like being a disability athlete with schizophrenia. Well, being a disability athlete with schizophrenia is a different experience. I am on an atypical antipsychotic, a typical treatment for schizophrenia called olanzapine, which was under the brand name Zyprexa, and it is a metabolic changing medication. That's not its primary focus. Its primary focus is to modulate the D2 uh, dopaminergic enzymes in the brain to slow them down, to block the reuptake. I believe, although it also works on norepinephrine and serotonin, also primarily for the focus of sedation. Well, an athlete generally wants to be alert. An athlete generally wants to be stimulated easily by things like speed, by things like danger, movement, movement of the bodily being. And that kind of slows down the reaction time. But why do I still want to be an athlete with schizophrenia on an atypical antipsychotic? Well, I always have been somewhat athletic. A competitive cyclist, a competitive runner in high school briefly, a long distance runner. So I've run mileages up to about 14 miles um, from Belmont through Harvard and onto the Museum of Science and back down the bike path through Sturrow Drive and back through Harvard and that kind of thing. Really nice run, which I am very unlikely to be able to do anytime soon. But I do a 1 mile loop, a 1 mile run around my house with my, let's see if I can do this, my activity tracking watch, which has an algorithm to measure VO2 max, which is volume squared maximum uh, per per milliliter per kilogram per minute. Now, Lance Armstrong, an elite cross country skier, an elite marathon runner, can have 80 milliliters per kilogram per minute. Pretty normally. A recreation, expert athlete, 60 milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute. With me, I'm holding steady at about 38 or 39. And that's my main reason to run, is to get that algorithmic score from my activity tracker. It's just a fun little metric for me. It's what I like to do. I like tracking. So when I go on my bike rides, I measure my average speed, I measure my average heart rate, my maximum, my time in my heart rate zones, and it's pretty interesting. As a recreational athlete, I'm mainly in the tempo zone 3, which means that I'm pretty building up lactic acid, having more trouble with recovery day to day. And it doesn't really up my VO2 max, which is more achieved through like 5 repetitions or 5 sets of 3 minute intervals at a very hard VO2 max pace. I don't do that as much because it's kind of hard when you're navigating around runners and baby strollers and walkers to do a full out interval. But I do like to measure my Strava KOM on Speed Bump, which is about taking me about 39 seconds to a minute to climb at a very high pace. And so I like metrics. I like getting the raw numbers of my workouts. I like to ride, there's no question about it, but because of the effect of the D2 blocking atypical antipsychotic that I'm on, to keep alert, I like to, you know, measure the metrics. It kind of keeps me in the game. So that's my little spiel from my corner of Watertown. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July and a good night. Signing off at Sentinel Food Court Racer.